You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Adler and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and this is episode 617, where, look, we warned you. We were going to do this, and here we are. It's now time to review Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. This is a show that I hadn't seen. Jonesy was out there, recommended it to everyone. He had a petition. There was a GoFundMe going on. I mean, it was kind of... So we decided that we would, especially on the heels of the sequel that's about to come out here in 2 days, we finally get around and talk about this. And so this is not something we normally do as far as content goes, but I think we're going to have fun with it. And to kind of help spear all of this is, of course, Jonesy. Jonesy, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks for blaming me for having fun.
It's not a crime, man. I swear, I promise.
It is not. And, you know, actually, everybody I've recommended this to that's gone and watched it have actually really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I've been pretty pleased about that. But hey, a celebratory week, though, because we got a lot of good news this past weekend at the Academy Awards, right?
Yeah. Andor took home 5 Emmy awards, one of which was Best Writing for the big episode, right? The big speech episode with Mon Mothma and all that. Yeah. So the Gilroys certainly came in there. And yeah, congratulations to everybody that was a part of that. It didn't win Best Drama, unfortunately. It had some pretty good shows up against it, and I think we kind of figured it probably wouldn't. It had the potential to. And I know when they announced it, when they were kind of going to, there was a big cheer coming from the crowd. So that's always, sometimes a good sign that, at least the people there are supportive. So, but all in, hey, you know what? Star Wars walked away with some Emmys, and Best Writing is just as good as, Best Drama or even Best Director for me. I think it's still a crime that Genevieve Riley wasn't nominated for Best Actress, but, we'll take what we can get.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, and so many great shows out there. So just to be in the conversation is really important. But to come away with a big one like Best Writing, I think is. When in your life did you ever expect to hear Star Wars name be called for writing?
No,
I mean,
never.
No, we never expected that whatsoever. So pretty amazing honor. And I think, like you said, it kind of talks about the entire crew, everybody in front of the camera and behind the camera, to bring the writing to life as well. Mm-hmm. So. And I'm sure that Dan Gilroy and them would be the first ones to tell you that, we can write things, as great as we think, it could ever be written, but without the right people to deliver them, you're not going to have it and to set the right scene. So it's just really cool that I think this is such an ensemble show, and man, that they got recognized and that so many won is absolutely fantastic. So really exciting news over the weekend there.
Yeah, no, super ecstatic. A lot of people were very happy. But before we get started into this review, how about some shout outs to some very special folks?
Yeah, all of our Patreon members, and welcome back to Jeremy Reese. So we appreciate you rejoining Patreon this week. So thank you for that. Special thanks to our now part of the tribe members: Alex, Danny, Dante, Daz. I've got a Brad feeling, Jackson, Jacob, Josh, Mike, Risk, Sharkman Dan, and Uncle Leon. And our Delusions of Grandeur members, our top tier. Now this is Rod Racing, CJ, Steve, and Rob. If you're curious about Patreon, cantinacast.com/Patreon. We'll show you everything you need to know. If you'd like to join the live stream, well, if you're downloading this, thanks for the download. Cantinacast.com/YouTube. You can come out and join the live stream like some of the amazing folks out there already. Skywalker's Academy, Steph, Music Train, Whatever versus CPU. We see you folks out there in the background. We hope you'll come out and say hello. If you've seen Rebuild the Galaxy, not pizzas of the past, but pieces of the past will come out later this week. But if you've seen the first Rebuild the Galaxy, we'd love to get your thoughts and feedback. So throw them out there in the chat, and we will get them up on screen as we go.
Yep. We've got the Pieces of the Past. We're definitely going to cover that one here as soon as that comes out again in tomorrow, I think, isn't it? Is it tomorrow or Thursday?
It's 19th, so it's later this week.
19th. Okay, later this week. All right.
Yeah, so we'll come back around this on probably Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll circle back on that. We've got a Patreon show coming up and working through a whole bunch of other scheduling stuff that we've got. So plenty more to go. And certainly feel free to take a look at all the backlog of stuff, especially if you're a Patreon member. We have that stuff all categorized. For the most part, we got a lot of it categorized. So if there's something specific that you're looking for, whether it's Andor or Star Wars Resistance or...
Wait, no one's looking for that. Yep.
I'm kidding.
So I
like
actually put the tags in Patreon as well. So there's
Yeah.
little tags.
Okay,
You can
good.
click those as well as the collections. That'll kind of bring you, hopefully, to find a bunch of stuff. I actually spent like a whole weekend a few years ago trying to go all the way, like as far back in the catalog as I could to try to put something in, like for like the meta tags and whatever. And
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how far. I don't know how far I got, but I did a lot of them. So there should be a lot to satisfy most needs for your patronage out there, folks.
Yeah. And a lot of that is evergreen too. Like some of it is, kind of fun to listen to now, just having the benefit of seeing where things end up and, predictions and all that. But some of that is kind of evergreen. So it is nice. And I'm glad they actually did that. And I'm glad you put the work into it because honestly, our Patreon catalog was getting so huge.
It's massive. Yeah.
That it was like impossible to find anything. I mean, you had to scroll forever and there was no easy way to do it. And this allows us to actually have them in groups and categories. And so yeah, hopefully you guys are finding some value in all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Rebuild the Galaxy. So I had not seen this. I had a chance to watch it twice. I watched it once by myself, and then I watched it with my 8-year-old son, who, by the way, is not the biggest fan of Star Wars. Like he likes the newer stuff, but really will not watch anything from the original trilogy. I mean, it's like I'm just killing him when he's watching original trilogy stuff.
Right.
Prequel trilogy stuff, he's okay with it, but still not into it. He's part of the newer generation. He likes The Mandalorian. He likes the sequel trilogy. He likes Rey, that sort of thing. So watching this with him, I will say, was different. Like this definitely was right up his alley. He was laughing. He was, way more engaged than I would even argue that he was with anything else that even from the sequel trilogy and the stuff that he likes. He was much more engaged, much more dynamic as he was watching this than anything else. Now that could have been because I just hopped him up on sugar, but I like to think that it was genuinely interested in Lego because he is a big Lego fan. Yeah. And so maybe we can start there. I just want to say like this whole idea of Lego and Star Wars. I mean, we're on the 25th anniversary now, 25 years ago that they finally decided to come together. And since then we've had a billion different sets and all kinds of video games and Lego animation type stuff. But I will say like, it is a kind of a perfect marriage. I don't think anybody else does it better. You could argue the Warner Brothers stuff with the Batman and Lego movie. That's been really great as well. But in terms of just consistency, Lego Star Wars has always been there for me. And it is really neat to kind of see the evolution. When you think back about the animation, what it looked like originally, remember it was like really smooth and they were trying to make everything fluid, because it was 3D. And then when the Lego movie came out, all that got just pitched in the garbage. And what we have now is just, it's so visually, stylistically appealing to watch that I'm glad that Star Wars has they've brought this up, especially when you watch Rebuild the Galaxy. You're seeing a lot of the same animation, a lot of the same animation techniques that were used that came from Lego movie in this one. I think it just elevates it to a new level. So first, just out of the gate, I want to say like I really liked the animation that was done here. I think they did an incredible job for something that's just being on TV. It's right up there in some of those scenes with the stuff that we've gotten from the movies. But any thoughts around the 25 anniversaries with Lego and Lucasfilm or the animation before we get started on the in-depth stuff?
I'm actually glad you brought that up because I think what it does is it does kind of two things. I think one, if you've played the Lego Star Wars video games where you have to use the Force to build things, and to assemble them and solve puzzles and stuff, the show picks right up in that. Like that, the idea that there are Jedi Force builders out there is not a new concept, but it's cool they keep kind of bringing that up, and that's a thing. That's a discipline within the Jedi, which I think is just fun. I like the animation comment you made though because it's like you're playing with the figures while you're watching the show.
Right.
Like you could actually tell this story. This story is so simple, right? And it's been told 1,000 times, but you could sit there with your own figures and tell a similar story, and you would pose them and, split the legs and they kind of pause up in the air and stuff like that. And it's just over the top and it's just so much incredible fun. And I think that's what these shows do so well. That's why I was so excited for you to watch. I'm glad you get to watch it with your son and that he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because I think you just have, it's just, you could just do this yourself, right? We've been doing this since you and I were kids with Lego and, creating our own scenes. And even when we didn't have Star Wars, we were doing this type of thing and using our imagination. And that's what I like about these things. I think they're just unique and they do these so well. I mean, this isn't the first time they've done a really great Lego Star Wars, show, but it was
the
first
holiday
time
special last year was pretty good too.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got a bunch of other ones that are really good. They have like a holiday, like a vacation one and some other things too. But this was almost like a movie, right? This was a four story arc or 4 episode arc. Each one's about 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a movie. And I just thought that was just so well put together. And when you kind of piece it together, that it really embraces what Lego is to anybody who's, I like how they even Jedi Bob, his last name is Afol, AFOL, which is adult fan of Lego, for those who maybe don't know that. And so they kind of lean into some of those, you know, even the adult fans, there's something kind of there for everybody. You know, so it's just a really great series. And I'm really looking forward to Pieces of the Past and see how they continue the story, because it sounds like they'll kind of continue that, you know, right from the end of this one.
Yeah. And it's fitting too. Two things on that note, just to kind of continue that trend of thought, that Lego or Master Jedi Bob, voiced by Bobby Moynihan, right? So he's been in Star Wars before. He did some stuff on Resistance, and he's done other things. And he had some Star Wars skits when he was on Saturday Night Live. But the fact that it was Bob and it's Bobby Moynihan, just like, I don't know, that's just perfect, right? It was made for him to play. He does a really good job in doing that. But the origin of that character goes back to like the Clone Wars set from like, I don't know, 2002 or whatever it was. There was a Jedi that was in there, and it was just like unknown Jedi. And so the fandom called him Jedi Bob, which is the most generic name you can possibly think of. And then to see him brought to life in this series was actually pretty cool. And there's a lot of like little Easter eggs like that. We'll get into that more in just a second. There's all kinds of one-liners and little Easter eggs that are dug in there for, you know, casual fans as well as some of the hardcore fans. But I was thinking about it too. Like, have they ever actually made any of these sets now? Like, as I was watching this, I was thinking, man, that'd be a really cool set to have. Like the AT-ATs with the, was it the Jawas or the Sandcrawlers with the AT-AT legs, and, you know, some of the other stuff out there, the X-Fighters or whatever the heck they were called. Like, I was like, wow, they really should put this out there. Because if you look at the parts, like everything in there, usually now these days, everything they actually build these models from Lego first, and then they animate them afterwards. So it feels like they should be able to do this. Maybe with Rebuild the or with the Pieces of the Past, maybe they'll have a chance to kind of release some of this stuff. But I'd actually be interested in. I mean, who doesn't want to own a Darth Jar Jar Binks minifig? You know,
well, it's actually out there. So
is it really?
Yeah. So they did a couple of these, and actually Skywalker's casually in the chat. He'll help keep me honest here, I hope. But they did the Dark Falcon, which I believe is kind of where you get the main minifigs, and I think that's where you get Darth Jar Jar as well.
I must have missed that one. I didn't even see it out.
Yeah, that actually got leaked before the show came out, because people got really excited. We're getting Dark Falcon, and what does this actually mean before the minifigs were published.
Oh, I do remember. I do remember that. We probably covered it here at one point, but
yeah, maybe on one of our Waystation shows, possibly, or something. And then I want to say maybe they did. I thought they did another set too, but I am struggling to remember which one it was. So Dale or one of our CPU, someone who's in the chat, Music Train, maybe if y'all happen to do a quick search, you could tell us which Lego sets were actually produced for the show. It was just a couple. I think it was just a couple though, maybe two, maybe three that were done. But yeah, but you're right. They're just fun. I mean, a black and red Falcon, it looks so cool. You know, it's just different. And they're right. There were a whole even the Ewok Y-Wings was something that was just kind of hilariously done. And D. Bradley Baker, of course, doing the voice for the Ewoks, by the way. So, and he also did Darth Nubs. So if you wanted Darth Nubs.
Oh, so they did a Lego Jedi Bob Starfighter.
Oh, that's what it was. Jedi Bob Starfighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so
it looks like it looks like the last one that they did.
I think they just did a couple, but yeah, they were fun.
Yeah. Well, maybe again, like with the second one coming. Oh yeah, there's already a Pieces of the Past set that I'm looking at right now.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's it looks like it's a Force Burner Snow Speeder. So instead of snow, it's all fire.
Oh boy.
And it comes with Sig, Darth Dev, and I can't see who the other character is.
Darth Devastator. Or Devastation or whatever it was.
Yeah, but Devastator. So, but yeah, no, I'm glad they actually did that. I need to pick these up now. Like, I wouldn't mind having some of these sets, quite honestly.
Okay, so they did do the TIE Fighter X-Wing mashup as well, as what Skywalker's Academy is saying in the chat.
Okay, cool.
So there you go.
But great designs.
Yeah, everything was just, well, we'll talk about kind of the scenario of what happens, right, in the story, high level. But yeah, you get all sorts of weird mismatch and mix matching of characters and what you know from canon. So it's just a different spin on everything,
Yeah. So let's talk about, I guess, the storyline. You'd mentioned this is kind of something that's been done before. I mean, it almost follows the hero's journey to a T. Like every stage is in there. I mean, they just took it and said, okay, let's just do that. So we're not going to break that down because I think it's probably a little overkill for what we're doing here. But it is a kind of like this timeless tale, and they did a really good job of changing enough of it, no pun intended, to really kind of make it fresh and new, especially with all the aesthetics of Lego and everything.
Right. Yeah, you have Sev, you have Dev and Sig, so they're brothers. And you have Dev, of course, is the adventurer. Sig is the one who resists adventure. They're both nerf herders. They're on a planet called Vanessa, not Vanessa, but Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Of course, Sig wants no adventure. He doesn't want any kind of adventure, and Dev wants all of the adventure. And they stumble on a Jedi temple, and to prove a point, he starts getting angry, and they find out that Sig kind of has the Force. They don't know that Dev does at this point, but they're in this secret Jedi temple, so they're very excited, and they see this very glittery little, one by one, flat tile, and it's very sparkly and stuff like that. And so Dev wants it, and so Sig, in anger, kind of rips it out. And when he does, it completely reshakes the galaxy and completely reshapes it. At the beginning of the episode, Sig was actually recounting the tales of our canon, so the stories of Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy, talking about the sequel trilogy as well. And so it's very rooted, and it was very verbatim of kind of how it went. And he's just rooted in these stories. He's very much a storyteller. And that kind of matters a little bit later on in the story if you were to go watch it. We won't probably get into that part of it, but but it was interesting to see that canon was really there to start. But when they ripped that out, we find out through Jedi Bob that when you take this cornerstone out of the Force, then it completely shakes everything up and changes your history to where you don't know. So the canon that we know and love is no more in Rebuild the Galaxy. And what's interesting, though, one thing I thought was interesting, I want to get your take on it, was that apparently this wasn't the first time the galaxy had been remade.
Right,
so even the canon that we know
right
isn't the sacred timeline, so to speak, from a Marvel standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that? I mean, you kind of hear it and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But did it give you pause, or did it mess with your brain a little bit?
Oh, it did. But then I thought, what is Disney up to here? Like, what are the writers up to in putting that little, planting that little seed? I mean, because it's like, this is really we've talked so many times about Star Wars what if, and having a sandbox to kind of play with characters, and this is kind of like what they're doing here. They're essentially saying, look, there's multiple timelines and different versions of the galaxy where not everybody's good. Not everybody that's good is not always good, and the bad people turn good and all that stuff. And there's a way to mix it all up, right? Mm-hmm. So it does kind of give them a lot of freedom to do sequel stuff. It gives them freedom to do like prequel trilogy. I'd like to see that at some point. Maybe they go back in time and we get a sense of what we know as Star Wars as being the galaxy, the canon that we all love here. Some version of it that existed prior to that would really kind of change how we look at our own canon. I think that's probably too deep for what they want to do, but it would be kind of interesting for them to see that. But it just gives them a lot of free.
It'd be like Jedi Bob's story. I
guess. Exactly. Yeah, Jedi Bob's story. I don't want to talk too much about speculation on pieces of the past, but they never mention the brothers' parents, right? They just show they're on the planet, and they never say, "Oh, we lost our parents." I think at one point he says, "You're my brother, and if I didn't have you, I don't know what," and he gets kind of cut off. Right. But I'd like to see like what was their family like, and then do they play a part in this sequel that's coming up? Do they play a part in maybe a prequel or something? But it's just a lot of free agency, a lot of creativity that the writers can use now by just planting that one little seed, saying that this isn't what you think it is. It could what you thought was normal, what you thought was canon, was actually just another variation that happened. And how many more have happened before that, and how many more will happen beyond that? So yeah, it's kind of neat. It's kind of weird to think about it. We're in this real creative way to tell Star Wars.
All right. So as the story progresses, basically Jedi Bob leads Sig to believe, or doesn't kind of set him correct when Sig thinks that, if we get the cornerstone and we plug it back into I guess when the Jedi Temple is destroyed as a result of the cornerstone being taken out, a new one is then created, or it is somewhere. It appears.
Yeah, it just appears somewhere.
And you go put that in and you lock it into place. Now, Sig believes that, if I put it back in, then it'll restore our galaxy and go back to the way things were. So that's the premise of the show, that he's going through to try to get it back and battling with his brother, who, of course, is now evil, as Darth Dev rather than just Dev, and his myriad of Sith users. So there's no rule of two here either, to try to get it back with the intent of trying to restore the galaxy. Now, of course, Jedi Bob is withholding that. They can't actually restore the galaxy. It's set in place, and they have to kind of live in this galaxy. But, of course, that's the hero's journey you were talking about before for Sig, of, the reluctant hero, doesn't want anything to do with it, finally embraces that side of him, and that, maybe I do like a little bit of adventure, and I can still tell a story. I could still, basically adhered to his own ideals too as a nerf herder, and his ion staff and stuff that of course is kind of important to the story to an extent.
Nerf handler, thank you. Nerf handler.
His nerf handler. Okay.
Yeah.
But it attracts the ion lightning, I guess, on this planet of Finessa.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, that's kind of the typical journey, right? So it's not a unique story by any stretch, but it's always, we've talked a lot about this. You can give us the same story or the same mythology, and if you execute it really well and it's fun and there's things that you add in there that sprinkle in uniqueness to it, it can be really good and successful. And I think the show really kind of exemplifies where you take a very tried and true method and you make it just a ton of fun. You shake things up and you get something that's a really nice product at the end of the day.
Yeah. You mentioned the lightning on the planet. I thought they were going to say it was like Everon, which was Marchion Ro's planet. You remember it had like the lightning storms and everything, and that's why they're called the Storm. And
right.
Yeah, they didn't go there. So maybe it was. Maybe that planet was, before it got rebuilt, it was Everon, and then it was rebuilt and became Finessa or whatever the heck that name of the planet is.
Right.
All right, so let's kind of go through some of, some of the stuff that stood out. There's a lot here. Holy bananas. Within those 4 episodes of 20 to 25 minutes, they really pack in a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of like one-liners, a lot of bits, a lot of gags. I mean, it's just your typical Lego stuff, but done really, really well. Very smart writing in a lot of places. Voice acted. I mean, just phenomenal. We need to talk about some of the voice actors in here, because went back and I'm like, is that so-and-so? And sure enough, they're listed in the credits. I'm like, wow, they did an amazing job of like hurting all of these people to come back. Sure, some of them haven't been really collecting a lot of paychecks lately, but still the fact that they were able to get them into this show and on behind the microphone to record these voices again was pretty phenomenal. Maybe let's start there.
And that some of them did it is even cooler.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So what were some of the ones that stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to start with Mark Hamill as Luke, right?
Yeah.
And Luke, in this timeline, he's like this surfer dude. So you have the Moss Eisley Marina Cantina.
Yeah.
Is what it's called, because Tatooine isn't a wasteland. It's got water and basically...
Which by the way, is where, in canon, or I guess in Legends, it's canon now too. It used to be a water planet a long time ago.
Right, so. Exactly. But he's out there racing pod racers. He doesn't really know he has the Force, and he kind of cheats a little bit. And he's got like the Hawaiian type of shirt with his chest exposed and a Chipor snippet necklace.
He looks like he's right out of Santa Barbara or something like that.
He does. It's like Surfer Luke. And and Mark Hamill just plays it so well, like not caring. Again, the reluctant hero again, very unlike what you kind of see Luke in the original trilogy, of course. And what I really love about Luke in particular, and I actually wrote the whole quote, and I just have to read this, Albert. I'm sorry to
go ahead.
So when they meet in the Mos Eisley Marina Cantina with Jedi Bob and Sig and Luke, basically Sig tells Luke his life story real quick. And when it's done, they just have this awkward silence. And so Luke's like, wait a minute, let me get this right. In your galaxy, my dad is mostly evil until he turns good for like 5 minutes and then dies. My own nephew betrays me and kills most of my best friends. And I spent a decade alone on an island with something called porgs because I get super sad. And then I come back and use the Force so hard that it kills me.
Yeah.
And you want me to help you?
Yeah. I mean, the speech alone is hilarious, right? But the tongue in cheek of the fandom and the downfall of all of that happening from The Last Jedi is actually pretty brilliant when you think about it. Like, they're not, it's good on Disney to make fun of themselves and have some humility and all of that.
Oh, and you just know Mark Hamill ate it up too.
Oh yeah,
he's like, oh, this is going to rouse some people up. This is going to be so much fun to do. But I mean, Luke was a great one to start with, at least from a really front and center character, and have Mark Hamill doing, Luke was really cool. So, or maybe we'll just kind of trade off. What's another character for you?
So as a big fan of Stranger Things, Gatton Matarazzo, I think he's great. Like he plays Sig Griebling, which is one of the kids there in the show. I thought the fact that he's in it was just phenomenal. Again, I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. I like some of the other stuff he's done as well, but he was in there. I just want to throw another one in just quickly. Ahmad Best coming back as Jar Jar, voicing Jar Jar as Jar Jar, and then coming back and voicing Darth Jar Jar, and using a lot of the lines from episode 1, like as Darth Jar Jar with the Darth Jar Jar voice, was really fun to watch. Like, and if you were around that time, when the Dark Jar Jar fan theories were coming out, like there were a lot of people that were very, very serious. Like these were hills they would die on about this theory that Dark Jar Jar or Jar Jar was a Sith Lord the entire time during episode 1 when we were still looking at episode 2 and even 3, because it still hadn't died down even after 3 or after 2. So, but yeah, just to see them bring that forefront and have like this character and then have, of all people, Ahmad Best play him is just brilliant.
I really was hoping they would have. He said his first line was "Misa gonna hurt Yusa," I believe.
Right. Yeah.
It would have been so classic, and maybe it was Lego, so they backed off on this. Like, you stepped in the poodoo this time, to try to kind of paraphrase Boss Nass would have been a lot of fun too.
Oh, I get where you're going. Yeah, that's a good one.
Or I guess not Boss Nass, but that would have been the general. I forgot his name, but Carpals.
Yeah.
Tarpals. Yeah, there we go.
Tarpals. Thank you.
Okay, but I got to ask you though. All right, so Leia is in this, like as General Leia Organa, and she's kind of the Leia we remember, except for one key difference. She's not with Han Solo.
Yep.
She's in love with Greedo.
I know, which was just, and then
I loved it. I laughed so
oh my
hard
goodness
when I saw this, and this is one of the reasons why I made you watch this.
I feel like I was set up for this because not only did they go there, but they double down on the whole Rodian thing, and they make Slave One with Rodian ears, which was the stupidest thing in the world.
So perfect.
I know, it was terrible. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I was not expecting that because they did a pretty good job of him, Solo coming down the ramp there, and they're looking at each other, and then she walks right by him, and it's Greedo of all people. So, funny, Jonesy. Thank you for that. By the way, I follow Shelby Young on Instagram. If you're not following her on Instagram, you really need to do so. She's an incredible voice actress, and she does just prolific work. She's always busy. She's always posting stuff that she's done. I mean, you'd be you're crazy not to just even try to think about how many characters she's voiced. But the fact that she has Princess Leia as well. But on her Instagram stuff, she'll post like random, just her talking in different character voices. And then she just jumps from one character to the next. And they're like, big characters. They're not like all the Disney princesses, and Leia's in there, and just stuff from animation, stuff from video games. I mean, she's an amazing person, amazing actress. But if you haven't been following her, follow her. But I love the fact that she's a huge Leia fan, and she's getting to voice Leia in this one, which I think she's done before. And on that note, what's her name? Catherine Tabor as Padme. Is coming up, I think, in the next one, if I'm not mistaken. She's been brought back in. So, and
then Ashley Eckstein will be reprising Ahsoka and In Pieces of the Past. There's actually some more cameos coming up in the second one. Yeah, quite a bit.
We had Anthony Daniels, who's not. I mean, it's great that he's there, but it's like never a shocker that he's back as C-3PO.
Right, but he was like 000 C-3PO. For those that remember some of our coverage on the comics, he's a bounty hunter C-3PO with red eyes. I barely recognized him with the red eyes. And
I know.
But yeah, he's a bounty hunter, and he's just very cold and calculated. But I'm sorry, nothing beats the bounty hunter Ewoks, though.
Yeah.
And the way they're introduced, they kind of set them up like the worst thing in the galaxy. And they're like, what? And all of a sudden you have this Ewok screaming at the top of its lung from this weird grass and leaf covered, Y-wing, voiced by D. Bradley Baker, of course. And it was just the perfect introduction that you can't help but laugh at it. And oh man, it's so wild. It's so wildly absurd. It's so funny.
And during like the design talks about, okay, so let me get this right. So the Ewoks are going to be the bounty hunters. They're going to be in Y-wings. How do we make the Y-wings more Ewok? Someone said, throw one of the glider wings on there, right? And that's literally what they did. They just pasted the Ewok glider wings on top of the Y-wings, and there you go. Now it's an Ewok starship.
Add a little foliage and you're good. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Kelly Marie Tran as Darth Tico, Darth Rose Tico. I was, when she first started speaking, I wasn't sure if it was her. Later on, she said a couple more things, and it did sound more like her. And I thought, pretty good voice actress, whoever's doing that. And when looked at, nope, that's her. That's her voice doing it. So she comes back reprising Rose Tico. Yep. The female that plays Jana as well, I think, I forget her name now, from The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, she comes back and has a part in there. And Jana now is part of the Jedi Council, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right.
I believe so, yeah. And then we get Sam Witwer reprising his role as Maul, who, of course, is now a good guy. He's almost, what is he? Like his profession?
I don't know. I think he's looks like he's wearing one of Lando's like outfits.
It looks like one of Lando's capes. Yeah.
Yeah. His cape and the literally like real fancy.
He's very charismatic.
Top.
He starts very brooding. You know, you recognize Sam Witwer instantly, but and then he becomes very cheerful, and he's actually like an agent for the rebellion, and is the one that gets in contact with Leia to kind of tip them off and bring some things together. But having Maul out there was in a very different light, and like you said, very charismatic and suave to an extent. It was like, okay, and to the point where he's kind of hitting on Yessie, who's Sig's kind of, you know, love interest from afar.
Right. The Landalorian is the other one too, that, and Dale's already pointed out here. That is Billy D. Williams prior to him passing, doing his, or did he pass? Sorry.
No,
he's not dead. Sorry.
You're thinking of Carl Weathers.
I may have had a dream about that. He's not doing well. Hopefully he doesn't pass, but yeah, bringing Billy D. Williams back to do Lando as the Landalorian. And then at the very end,
creepiest Grogu ever.
I know I don't know what's going on there. And, you know, I was looking at the trailer for the next season. I didn't see them. I think I heard him maybe speak, but I didn't see them like featured. It seems like they're kind of moving away from that. So I'm sure he'll have a role to play in the sequel, but doesn't look like he's going to be front and center.
I didn't see that coming though either, too, because that was at the very end. It was kind of a closing, you know, epilogue type of scene, and you know, they go out there trying to find someone to hunt down Sig in the Cornerstone, and the Landalorian. What do you think, baby? And the creepy ass like Grogu smile.
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
Grogu's. I think they gave Grogu like sharp teeth. It was odd.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar clones.
Yeah, that was great.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good. And then, you know, it's a trap. That was funny. And then that gag worked a little bit better on the second time around when they use it again.
Right.
But the idea that they decided to clone Akbar instead of Jango Fett, you know, as part of the rebuild of the galaxy is just kind of crazy to bonkers to think about. And, you know, they're all clone troopers now. Yeah,
of course. And we didn't have known actors, or at least prominent actors, but the whole Jedi Council was very remade.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Jabba the Hutt on there, or I guess
as part of the council.
As part of the council, we had Palpatine, who was a Jedi, although a bit of a cowardly, stick your head in the sand kind of Jedi master. Darth Vader, but it was the Darth Vader in the white Lego, or the white light gray or white outfit from, I think, part of the holiday sets, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think it was one of the. Yeah, you're right. It was one of the. What do you call them? Advent calendar ones. If I'm not
Advent
mistaken.
calendar. Yeah. And then, of course, we had Jana, and then who else was on the council?
There was, I had them written down in here somewhere.
I just did the
Cad Bane, Lobot, IG-88, Dooku, Jaina, Jabba the Hutt, and then Vader and Palpatine. That's the council now.
Yeah, and they're not very effective. They just kind of run around, and they have to be convinced to do things and do the right thing because they've just been beaten down so much by the Empire, or this version of the Empire at the very least.
And all those are fine. Like, you get like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. But then you think, wait a minute, IG-88, he's a droid. Like, how is he part of the Jedi Council? I don't know. It's fun, though. Yeah. What did you think about I guess, let's talk about, while we're talking about that, let's talk about the Sith Lords now.
Yeah.
We had Darth Rose Tico. We had Darth Hammerhead, and he was like, I can't remember your name. And like,
none of us can. Yeah.
None of us can. And he puts his head down in shame and says whatever he does.
Right.
Darth Nubs, which is just sick. I don't even know what to say about that. That's scary to think about. Who voiced him? Was it D. Bradley Baker?
Yeah, D. Bradley Baker did. Nubs. Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't he do the voice in the kid cartoon?
Jedi, Young Jedi Adventures. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kept that the same. Darth Kit Fisto is another one. Right. They had a Darth Jawa, which just looks like
is that what that was? I couldn't tell.
It was a Darth Jawa. It's later on you actually hear him go Utini at one point, and he's because they're all running in or doing something. Everybody says something. He just says Utini as he runs in. So
yeah, and then of course we had Rey. We had Dark Rey as well.
Oh yeah,
the double lightsaber. So she was Darth Dev's kind of right hand person to enforce a lot of things, and a lot of conflict between Dev and Rey. So where this ends, she's striking out kind of on her own a little bit.
The Emperor's hand. In some ways.
Yeah. So there's no rule of two, and they say, I guess there's no rule of two in this galaxy. So they kind of acknowledge some of that too. But I thought it was fun. I mean, again, it was just such a weird, eclectic group of characters, especially when you see things like Darth Nubs. You don't know what to say. I mean, Darth Rey was kind of a gimme. Darth Jar Jar was kind of a gimme. Seeing Rose was there was a little bit of a surprise as well. But when you see someone like Nubs, you're like, okay. Like Kit Fisto, I could have take it or leave it. But Hammerhead, I think, would have been a throwaway character had they not made the joke of he doesn't remember his name.
Yeah.
Because that's just what all of us ever always thought and still think because we just don't know.
Yep. And they had this idea of like the Force builders versus the
Sith breakers.
Sith breakers. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That's a neat little concept that they had there. That we've got one group of the good guys are out there trying to build stuff, and the Sith are out there trying to tear things apart and rip it apart. So, and I think that'll play more into the second, the sequel. But
well, and they kind of touched on it. So Darth Dev was trying to convince Sig to join him, and one of the things that he tried to tempt him with was, you can. They had this super weapon, right? Because we always have to have a super weapon, and the idea was he would take the cornerstone and be able to put it to power the super weapon. And with Darth Dev's ability, he could break a world. And then with Sig, he could remake the world. And they actually did this with Vanessa because the Vanessa in this galaxy is quite different. So they were able to re-scramble it, but basically it uses your memories or like really what you want. It manifests just what you want. So it was too perfect because Lug the Nerf would never listen in Sig's galaxy, but in this one he was perfectly obedient and would do whatever he wanted, which of course Sig starts to realize this isn't the perfect galaxy. This doesn't feel right anyway. We shouldn't be destroying people's lives just to remake it how we want. So there's a bit of a lesson in all of this as well.
Yep. I have a list of just lines that were from the other movies and shows and stuff that they've referenced in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like as an example, we got to hear Jar Jar say how rude at one point. We got to see Palpatine say unlimited power, although I think he was talking about like actual like power, needing power to like power up stuff.
Yeah, when Servo, the Gonk droid hero, supercharges them. Yeah.
That was good. We got to hear, I think Han said, "Don't get cocky, kid," when he was talking to one of them there. There was a Star Tours reference in this.
That one fell flat. Yeah. Of all the jokes, that was the one I was like, okay, that's a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
Like they've had softer landings with Star Tours. Or something like
yeah.
Because if you've been to Disney, you crash every single time on Star Tours.
Yeah. There was a moment there where I think it was Dev that said, "Join me," to kind of quote Vader from Empire Strikes Back. A trap it is, versions of that with Yoda. I forgot, was Yoda and Grievous, weren't they Jedi as well?
Yes, they were both Jedi.
I think they were like
prisoners. Yeah,
prisoners. Yeah. That popped in my head there. Let's see, what else did we have here? The how rude, we got that from Jar Jar as well, from Darth Jar Jar. Let's see, where was it? See you around, kid.
Right.
Then from Luke Skywalker, although I think he says see you around, Dev, at one point as well. I mean, it just goes on and on. There's so many like just little things that they managed to kind of work into that. So I mean, the writers definitely did their homework. They know Star Wars, at least the movies and the lines, and were able to kind of work them into all of this. And so, as a casual fan, like I said, I don't know that some of these are just too on the nose and definitely memorable, but some of these are not. Like some of these are kind of deeper cuts, in my opinion, things that you wouldn't know unless you're really in the weeds of Star Wars. But it's a little bit of everything. Like I said, my son was able to kind of follow along. He enjoyed it. But when I'd mentioned like, oh, that's the line from whatever, he was just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I just thought it was funny, the way it was delivered.
He's not lived this for almost 50 years.
Yeah, right. So he hasn't been in this war since he was like 5 years old, unfortunately.
He has. He just doesn't know it. Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. That'll all come out a little bit later.
Yeah. We didn't really talk about Han. Like Han they kind of make him seem like the swashbuckling Han, but then he betrays them at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's the traitor.
Yeah, he's the traitor that turns them in. So
he's a scoundrel. He's playing a scoundrel.
Is all because Leia doesn't love him.
Yeah. Which,
so there's some truth there, I guess.
Yeah, we've all been there. I mean, who hasn't really, I don't know. Just looking through here, I was taking a lot of notes at one point, and then I stopped because I was just laughing and having a good time with it, honestly.
Yeah, that's the hard part about this one is that it's so dense with, like, you could probably just pinpoint, half the lines in a show sometimes, or for some of the episodes, and you'd be able to capture it. But again, I like what you said though. It is a little mixed of levels of Star Wars to get your enjoyment, which I think it kind of just appeals to really anybody in the fandom. I mean, I would be hard pressed to set this in front of anybody no matter where you sit on the spectrum of Star Wars right now and say, did you not at least get some level of enjoyment from this series, even though it's just mindless fun. But we could go for a little mindless fun sometimes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just seems like one of those shows that people could just sit there and laugh and have fun together with, at the same time.
Oh, I found another one. The Jedi can strike back too.
Yeah,
I forget
that
who
was a good
says
one.
that, but
I think that was Palpatine.
Might have been.
They may have been Palpatine. Yeah.
yeah. So again, like on that line, I mean, if you think about it, it's like, oh, okay, they're talking about the Empire striking back, and it's just the Jedi now. So
Yeah, and of course C-3PO makes an odd reference of what the likelihood he's not going to kill them.
right.
And it was astronomical odds, of course.
Yeah.
We don't want C-3PO to tell us the odds.
Yeah. No, it was a good show. Like I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Again, we talked about the animation, the writing was great, the voice acting was great. I can definitely see why they've got a sequel, and I definitely understand now why so many people are excited about the sequel coming out. And looking at that trailer, I was already all sitting there trying to speculate and break this down, typical Star Wars stuff. I'm like, I got to stop because that's not what we need to be doing with this show. But it looks like there's some pretty cool stuff in there, like some new stuff that they're bringing in, especially Jackson. Like the fact that he's coming back, I have a feeling he's going to steal the show. Quite honestly.
And that they'll do some of the different styles of Lego. So Ahsoka, I think, is going to be the blocky ones. I forgot what they call those, but like the big stocky ones that they
something heads or something like that.
Brick heads. Yeah, right. Yeah, so she's going to be in that style, I believe. So that they're kind of incorporating other parts of their product line. I mean, again, you could argue it's just one big commercial for Lego Star Wars, but that's not.
It's always been.
That's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. But again,
Yeah,
if you like the video games, this is kind of right up your alley too.
Yeah, Ashley Eckstein is Ahsoka Tano. Ben Schwartz is playing Jackson. Dan Stevens is playing Solitus, which is Jedi Bob's former master. So we get to hear more about
a little backstory.
The backstory on him. Yeah, Luke is back. Mark Hamill's back. Maud Best. We didn't mention Michael Cusack. I don't know anything about him. Like, honestly, is he?
Right, yeah, he
is he one of the Cusack families?
I don't remember. Yeah, but
he's an Australian actor, writing producer.
Yeah, who did he voice though?
He was Servo when Servo got his voice.
Oh, Servo. Okay,
yeah. Otherwise, it looks like everybody else is back. So, but I've also seen what's his name? Kyle, not Kyle Custon. What's his face? From the Jedi Order games.
Oh, Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis, thank you.
I've seen his name start to surface.
He's starting to circulate as well. So I have a feeling there's going to be other characters in here that'll be probably little cameos and stuff. Yeah, Cameron Monaghan is playing Cal Kestis.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of cameos. It's going to be packed full.
Oh, K2SO, he was in the trailer too.
Oh, yeah, K2.
And Alan Tudyk is doing his voice.
And it's evil K2SO, if I recall.
Yeah.
Oh,
we didn't mention Matthew Wood as Grievous.
Yeah, Matthew Wood Grievous is.
Oh, we talked about him, but
yeah.
Brian George, that's the original Ki-Adi-Mundi. He did the voice in this one, or I think he's doing the voice in the next one, I guess.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so he's coming back to reprise that role. Nika Futterman is Asajj Ventress. That's the voice of Asajj. Okay. She's coming back.
Since you brought Nika Futterman, I learned something about Nika Futterman this week that I had no idea about.
Do I want to know this? Are you going to ruin it for me?
I'm probably going to ruin it for everybody.
Don't know your heroes kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of. I saw, and I think this might be true. I saw a post like on Instagram or something like that, and it basically said the lady who did the Pretty Fly for a White Guy song by The Offspring, who says "Give it to me, baby," is Nika Futterman.
Oh, yeah,
that's her who did. That's her who did that. Yeah.
Look, man, we were all young and we did some things, we regret because we needed the money. I'm sure that's exactly what happened there. That's all, right?
Yeah. So you are all welcome. You can join my life of really severe discomfort of learning that.
And if you like that song, great. I
love The Offspring. Yeah. But it's just, you just don't hear it, right? When you think about Asajj Ventress and then you hear, the high pitched voice.
Yeah.
It's just, no, it just doesn't compute. It just doesn't mesh. I sent it to a few people and they were like, you just ruined everything.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's funny. But yeah, I'm sure she didn't know that she would be, become a prolific voice actress. I'm sure she hoped, but like I said, seriously, sometimes we take jobs and we get paid to do them. But,
I'm not throwing shade. It was just, man.
I know, it's just weird to hear it
my
now,
world.
Though. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I guess let's put a fork in this one. I think we're done on this. I mean, I don't know. What else do you want? Any closing thoughts, any comments you want to make about the show, the series? Looking forward to the sequel?
I am looking forward to the sequel. I think it's just going to be, again, it's just going to be fun. It's just something like you said, you could do it with your entire family. I think it doesn't matter where you come at in Star Wars. If you know a little bit about Star Wars, it helps. But it's just entertaining enough. The episodes move pretty quickly. I was worried the first episode was going to, like when I was rewatching it, I was like, oh man, this first episode is going to slog a little bit. And no, these things really do kind of move at a pretty good pace. It's only 20 to 25 minutes, but they actually kind of pick up and get you where you need to be. And the humor and the energy in the shows really do show up pretty fast, which again, you would kind of expect in a kid's show, like something that's really geared towards children. But again, with the different levels of dialogue, I think there's something there for all of us. And I really enjoyed that. And I appreciate that. So I'm excited for Pieces of the Past. I think it's going to be entertaining. We'll see if it's as good. It's kind of difficult to recapture the magic sometimes, as we've seen a number of times. But at the same time, I think it's got a pretty good chance to be successful because these writers are just so clever. And like you had said before, the voice acting is really top notch, and everybody is kind of leaning in and just having a ball doing it. You can just tell.
Yeah, I was trying to look to see. I mean, for the most part, everything is the same group. Like it looks like it's all the same creative team and cast. So usually that bodes well. I mean, it's never 100% success, but that's heading in the right direction when you can bring everybody back. And usually, again, it speaks to how much everybody enjoyed doing it and really appreciated the quality. Right? They all kind of put their best foot forward, and so they do want to come back and do a lot of this stuff. And plus, they're being given more money, but they do want to come back and do this. So. I think it does bode well. We'll see if it's better than the first one, but I'm sure we'll get a third. I mean, Star Wars does 3, so we'll see if this one ends on a cliffhanger and leaves us open for something to come here in the next year or two. Because I think they've got something on their hands here. And again, like we talked about at the very beginning, there's a lot of potential here to kind of just rinse and repeat and really stay fresh and not have to feel like you're retelling the same story over and over again. Even if you are, everything else has changed, and so that makes it more exciting and intriguing.
And we've talked about it a number of times where this is where animation can really shine. It gives you a totally different spin on something. You can break from canon. You can bend the rules. You can do a lot of things. You could do serious stuff. You could do canon things. You can fill in gaps of stories. You can explore, the vision style of things, or you can bring in these more comedic and kind of soft reboots of types of things. So this is where these animation can really shine because you can do a lot of things you really can't get away with live action really at all. And it just brings a little bit of spark and fun to things. I think that we often, I think, are kind of missing in Star Wars because we do kind of get into the serious part of it. Yeah. So these are nice breaks from it all, I think. So these are a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think. This is a little bit different from the normal content we do, but it was great on you, Jonesy, to pick this. I'm glad you did, and it was fun watching it. So I'm looking forward to the sequel, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this show. But before we get out of here, how about some shout outs to some really cool people that joined us tonight?
Yeah, thanks to all the folks in the live stream. Again, cantinacast.com/YouTube. If you'd like to join us, like Skywalker's Academy, Steph, Music Train, One versus CPU, Alex, all the folks in the background. We do appreciate you coming out. We'll hope you'll say hi next time. Please leave us a comment if you've watched Rebuild the Galaxy. You're excited about Pieces of the Past. What aspects did you find kind of the best aspect of it? Who was your favorite character? I'd love to hear who got the biggest rise out of you as well. So leave us something in the comments. We certainly appreciate it. cantinacast.com/YouTube.
Yep. Okay, we'll end it there. And I guess a reminder that we've got, we'll break the second one down here very shortly, and we've got some Patreon coming very shortly as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and we'll see you all in the next show.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.